Are you giving up any money? So you're saying you're not giving up any compensation at all?
How does a company that wants to find aviation excellence find itself at the center of one of the biggest crises in aerospace history? The answer lies in a pivotal merger, a cultural shift, and a series of decisions that changed Boeing forever.
Boeing, a name long synonymous with aviation excellence, a company that revolutionized air travel and built some of the most iconic aircraft in history. But beneath its pedigree and reputation lies a story of corporate greed, cultural shifts, and devastating consequences. Its merger with McDonnell Douglas in 1997 marked a turning point in Boeing's history, and the catastrophic failures of the Boeing 737 Max brought those long-buried issues into sharp focus.
This is the story of how the merger became a misery. In this third video in the series, we bring you the aftermath of the merger of Boeing and McDonnell Douglas and how the cultural change resulted in cutting of corners and sacrifice of safety and engineering excellence that led to several terrible tragedies. In case you missed the earlier videos, you will find their links first thing in the description.
Boeing was the gold standard in aviation, known for its engineering excellence and groundbreaking aircraft like the Boeing 737, 747, and the 777, deeply rooted in innovation, driven by engineers who prioritized innovation, safety, and reliability above all else. McDonnell Douglas, on the other hand, had a completely different focus. While it was successful in both commercial and military aviation, producing jets like the MD-80 and MD-11, the company struggled financially in the 1990s, and to stay afloat, McDonnell Douglas adopted a corporate culture heavily focused on cost-cutting and short-term shareholder value. This would set the stage for the tragedies that would unfold after the merger.
Developing right now, it is believed all 157 people on board an Ethiopian flight were killed in a crash shortly after takeoff.
In 1997, Boeing merged with McDonnell Douglas in a $14 billion deal that was hailed as a move to consolidate power in the aerospace industry. On the surface, it seemed like a brilliant strategic alliance. Boeing's commercial dominance combined with McDonnell Douglas's military contracts. But the merger didn't just combine their strengths, it brought with it a clash of cultures. After the merger, McDonnell Douglas executives took on various key leadership roles at Boeing, and with them came a massive shift in priorities. The engineering and innovation-led culture that had always defined Boeing was swiftly replaced by a business-first approach. Decisions were no longer driven by innovation and safety, but solely by cost-cutting, profitability, and shareholder returns. And the cracks began to show early.
Boeing's commitment to research and development, a hallmark of its success, started to wane. Projects like the Boeing 747 and 777, which had been developed with collaboration between engineers and airlines, became rare. Instead, the company focused on squeezing more and more profits from its existing designs.
Meanwhile, Boeing faced increasing competition from Airbus. The European manufacturer's A320neo, with its fuel efficiency and advanced technology, began to dominate the single-aisle market, and Boeing needed a response, and fast. So Boeing's answer to the Airbus A320neo was the 737 Max, the fourth generation and an updated version of the aging 737 platform. It was in 2006 that Boeing first began to consider replacing the old 737 with a clean, slate design, similar to the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. But Boeing was soon left behind in the race. Airbus had had a significant head start, with the A320neo already having more than 600 commitments by June 2011, while Boeing executives were still talking about a new plane in February 2011 and then about re-engineering the B737 in March 2011 and incredibly, within just a month after that, declaring that they were not sure about that either. It would turn out to be a tragedy in satire. Having been left far behind in the race, Boeing needed to bring the Max to market quickly to stay competitive in the sector of narrow-bodied planes. Faced with the slew of orders for Airbus and the loss of long-time customers, Boeing's board of directors rushed through their approval for the launch of a re-engined 737. In the meeting on August 30th, 2011, they said the B737 Max would meet or exceed the range of the Airbus A320neo with a 4% less fuel burn.
Final configuration for the 737 Max was scheduled for 2013, and Southwest Airlines was signed up as the launch customer. and to focus on the re-engine project, Boeing abandoned the development of a new design.
The 737 Max got its airworthiness approval based on the 737 Legacy series, first approved on December 15, 1967, as a supplemental type certificate instead of as a new design approval. She first flew on January 29, 2016 at Renton Municipal Airport, nearly half a century after the maiden flight of the original 737-100. FAA certified the Max on 8 March 2017 and soon after was approved by the EASA. During the certification process, the FAA delegated many of the evaluations to Boeing, effectively allowing the manufacturer to review their own product. At the time, it was also widely reported that Boeing pushed to expedite approval of the 737 Max to compete with the Airbus A320neo, which hit the market 9 months ahead of Boeing. On 16 May 2017, the first Max 8 was delivered to what was then Malindo Air, now Batik Air Malaysia, a subsidiary of Lionair. The launch customer Southwest Airlines took delivery of their first 737 Max on the 29th of August 2017. In October 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 189 people on board. Less than 5 months later, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 suffered a similar fate, claiming 157 lives. Both crashes were linked to the MCAS system, which repeatedly forced the planes into uncontrollable dives. The world was shocked. How could a company like Boeing, with its reputation for safety and reliability, allow such a catastrophic failure? Investigations revealed a troubling pattern of cost-cutting, rushed timelines, and inadequate oversight, all results of the cultural shift that began with the McDonnell Douglas merger.
Secondly, we do know that Boeing engineers actually proposed placing a MCAS annunciator in the cockpit. But again, that came out in later versions or in the actual production version. And then it wasn't until after Lion Air that Boeing informed anyone, and still at that point I think soft-pedaling MCAS, that it was in the plane. I've talked to a lot of pissed off pilots.
The aftermath of the crashes was devastating for Boeing. The 737 Max was grounded worldwide, costing the company billions of dollars in fines, settlements, and lost revenue. Boeing's leadership faced intense scrutiny.
What does accountability mean? Are you taking a cut in pay? Are you working for free from now on until you can cure this problem? These people's relatives are not coming back. They're gone. Your salary's still on. Is anybody at Boeing taking a cut or working for free to try to rectify this problem like the Japanese would do?
Congressman, it's not about the money for me. That's not why I came.
Are you giving up any money?
Congressman, my board will conduct a comprehensive review.
So you're saying you're not giving up any compensation at all. You're continuing to work and make $30 million a year after this horrific 2 accidents that caused all these people's relatives to go, to disappear, to die. You're not taking a cut in pay at all?
Lawmakers and regulators questioning how safety had been sacrificed in favor of profits. Investigations revealed that in an effort to rush the plane to market and minimize costs, Boeing cut corners. Most notably in its development of the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS.
The MCAS system, designed to counteract aerodynamic changes, was poorly implemented and inadequately communicated to pilots.
Happened. We're here today because 346 people, sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, died on 2 Max aircraft within a 5-month period. Something went drastically wrong.
The result was these 2 catastrophic crashes that claimed 346 lives. Investigations also showed that Boeing had overlooked safety concerns in its rush to meet aggressive production timelines, a direct consequence of the post-merger focus on cost-cutting and shareholder returns. The financial impact was severe, but the damage to Boeing's reputation was even greater. For many, the crashes symbolized the dangers of prioritizing shareholders over safety. A philosophy that had taken root after the McDonnell Douglas merger, the 737 Max crisis forced Boeing to confront its cultural transformation. The engineering-driven company that had once been a beacon of innovation was now seen as a corporation consumed by financial targets. Critics repeatedly pointed to decisions made in the wake of the McDonnell Douglas merger as the root cause of the crisis. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for watching, and do hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next video in this series where we'll explore the after effects of the B737 Max disaster. See you in the next video.